This is the Louis T. Network.
The Redskins Report.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. So, we were able to get the victory, much needed, had to have it. And I talked about us getting that victory, and I felt like we were going to get it, and we got it. So, now we're 3-5. Huge matchup. Every game's huge now, as we have no margin for error. And like I said, we've got to find a way to string together consecutive victories. So, here we are. A prime opportunity to get to 4-5 on the season and come within a game of 500 on the season. And we haven't been this close to 500 in a long time. If we can get to 4-5, we haven't been this close to 500 since week 2. I mean, we were 0-1. That was the closest we've been to 500 since the season has started. So if we can get to 4-5 with a victory, and this is going to be a tough task. Again, Minnesota is 1-7. And they're not a good football team, but to this point, neither are we. Who are we to go and point the finger at 1-7 Minnesota when we're 3-5 on the season? So we can't really say much. And to my recollection, we've got one road win to our name, and that was against the Oakland Raiders without Terrell Pryor. So we can't go casting a stone at anybody until we can start playing consistent football. So we can't say, oh, they're the 1-7 Minnesota Vikings. We're supposed to beat them. Hey, we're the 3-5 Washington Redskins with one road victory to our name. So you can keep that to yourself. Adrian Peterson plays for the Minnesota Vikings. And last time I checked, he's one of the most explosive backs in the National Football League. And he's still a dominant force. And if you don't believe me, go watch the tape of last week against Dallas in Dallas, where he went for $140 on 25 carries and a grown man touchdown from 7 yards out. So don't talk to me about this Minnesota Vikings team not being any good and us supposed to be able to go in there and dominate them. That's not what this is. This is, every game for us is going to be tough. We're not a good enough football team to blow anybody out. So what we need to do is find a way to go in. And I was actually glad that they were competitive last week with Christian Ponder at the quarterback position, because I want to play against Christian Ponder. I don't want to play against Josh Freeman. I wouldn't have mind seeing Matt Castle, but I don't want any part of Josh Freeman. Even though the last time we saw him, he was a absolute mess, an abject disaster. I still don't want to play against Josh Freeman because he has the most talent of any of those quarterbacks. Give me Christian Ponder. Even though the one thing I don't like our defense going up against is a mobile quarterback, which he will run. Give me Christian Ponder. The propensity to make mistakes is there with Christian Ponder. I'll take my chances with him. If we can find a way to continue to play football the way we've been playing over the last 3 weeks, being opportunistic, forcing turnovers. We forced turnovers against Denver. Now, we stayed in that game for about 3 quarters until we were blown out. But the offense didn't do us any favors, and the defense held up as long as they could before they wilted under the pressure of our offense not getting it done and Peyton Manning and them starting to play good football. So our defense forced turnovers in that game. We forced turnovers against Chicago. We forced turnovers last week against San Diego. So for the last 3 weeks, we've been forcing turnovers. So I want to continue that trend, and I feel like against Christian Ponder and the Minnesota Vikings, we can do exactly that. And offensively, what we've got to do is continue to move the pocket. Don't sit back and have Robert behind the center like we did against Denver and have him be beat up. Move the pocket like you did against Chicago. Move the pocket like you did against San Diego. Let's finally take this show out on the road and show well and perform well on the road away from FedEx. We have not played well on the road this season. Our one road win this season, again, came against the Oakland Raiders, and they didn't have Terrell Pryor at quarterback. And, oh yeah, by the way, Matt Flynn was starting, and he's no longer in the National Football League. As of right now, I expect the Packers to make a play to go out and get him. But we got to be more consistent on the road. We need to run the football. We need to do all the things that make us who we are. And I've said that several times this season. When we play our game, we're a tough team to deal with. I've said that time and time again. And what is our game? Running the football, moving Robert Griffin III out of the pocket, getting him out on the edges, whether it is via triple option, or it's via read option, or it's via bootleg or QB waggle, whatever the case may be. Move the pocket. Don't have him be a stationary target where Jarrett Allen and Brian Robinson and company can find him. Move him around so that guys like Everson Griffin can't get to him. Don't allow him to just be behind Will Montgomery. I told you, don't like when it's 1063 Will Montgomery Lane and you can just come and knock on the door and find Robert Griffin III there. Don't make him an easy target in this game. Give him opportunities to get outside the pocket, make things happen. Run the football with AM. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's Alfred Morris. Get up, get up, get up. Hand him the football. Come on, get the ball to Alfred Morris. I would like to see more Roy Halou in this game. I didn't see a lot of him in the game against San Diego. And, spread the football around. We did a great job of getting the football to Pierre Garçon in the last game. You know what Jay Reed is all about. Leonard Hankerson is starting to emerge. So we got to continue to evolve as an offense. Defensively, we have to get pressure on the quarterback. We're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. I sound like a broken record because I feel like I find myself saying that too often. We need to get more pressure on the quarterback. We don't get enough pressure on the quarterback. Time for Ryan Kerrigan to step up. I've all but given up on a rack pole getting to the quarterback. So I would like to see some more Rob Jackson. Big play Rob. I want to see him in the game more. He was the guy that got the only sack last week against Phillip Rivers. I'd love to see more Brandon Jenkins in this game. That would make me a very happy man. So I want to see them starting to get other guys involved that can try to get to the quarterback, because obviously what we're doing and what we're trying isn't working good enough, and we're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. It's not yielding us enough hurries, enough pressures. It's not making it easier on our secondary, who is doing a fabulous job of holding teams down right now. D'Angelo Hall playing at a Pro Bowl level. DA is starting to come into his own. Josh Wilson quietly having a solid campaign. So if we can start to get a little bit of pressure to go with the guys playing solid football on the back end, we could actually do some things. Like the way this defense is evolving, we just need to continue to be consistent. I feel like we can force Christian Ponder into 2 interceptions easy in this game. The key for us, stack the box, make Christian Ponder beat us. We cannot let Adrian Peterson get off on us and have a monster day. If we can hold him down and have him have a pedestrian day, which is easier said than done. Even when you stack the box with 8, if you don't get in your run fits correctly, if he hits a hole and gets a seam and hits it full speed, we're not going to catch him. Okay? So our job is to corral this guy, and it's got to be 2 or 3 guys running to the football at all times. We're not the best tackling team in the world. We haven't been as bad as we were earlier in the season, but Adrian Peterson is a different specimen. He's a different breed. Unlike any other in the National Football League, we got to bring multiple guys to the football at all times. Tackle Adrian Peterson. Don't let him be the difference maker in this game. If we lose this football game, it needs to be on the right arm of Christian Ponder. If we lose this football game, Christian Ponder needs to dissect us with his right arm, not Adrian Peterson beating us with his legs. If that happens, I'm going to be so disappointed, because you know the game plan for the Minnesota Vikings. You know the recipe for winning for them. It's get the ball to AD and move out of the way. And if we let them beat us with that, do what the Giants did. And I don't expect them to be as inept or anemic on offense as they were on that Monday night when Josh Freeman couldn't hit the backside of a barn. I don't expect that. But I do expect us to be able to stack the box and make Christian Ponder beat us. And if he can, hey, tip my cap to him. But I don't expect him to be able to beat us. I don't expect him to be able to put this Minnesota Vikings team on his shoulders. There's no Kyle Rudolph, so that's one less target that they have in this game. We need to go in, dominate them defensively, force the issue, force some turnovers, take care of the football, score points when we have the football, like we've been able to do over the last couple of weeks, except for when we were in Denver. And I feel like this is a winnable game. I expect us to win. It's a quick turnaround. We got some guys banged up. But this is the good thing about playing on Thursday. If we are able to get this win, get to 4-5, we've got 11 days off before the next matchup, which is next Sunday. So this is a huge matchup. This will get us a chance to lick our wounds. It's almost like having another bye week. If we can find a way to gut it up and get a win on the road in Minnesota, I fully expect us to be able to do it. But there are some things we have to take care of. And the number one objective in this game, stop Adrian Peterson and make Christian Ponder beat us. If we do that, we are going to win this game because offensively, I feel like we can do enough to win against the Minnesota Vikings. So don't turn it over. Look, I'm going to give you the rhetoric. I'm going to give you the same spiel I give you every week. Don't turn it over. Win the turnover battle. Limit the penalties. We did a great job of limiting the penalties Sunday against the Chargers. We need to repeat that performance, not have a lot of penalties, and not be giving up free yardage. We need to find a way to force some turnovers. And I'm telling you right now, if we can stop the run and make Christian Ponder beat us, we will generate turnovers in this football game. Convert third downs. We were money on third downs. And you see the difference when you can extend drives. When you can pick up third downs, sustain offense, you give yourself a chance to score points. We were 12 of 17. Do you know what that is? I mean, do you know that that's over 66% on third downs? That's crazy talk. Teams don't convert third downs at over a 60% clip in this league. I mean, that is absurd what we were able to do. That was so good on so many different levels. I can't even explain it to you. And so if we can continue to pick up third downs like we did against San Diego, we'll be in business. We've got to score points. Again, we were 2 of 3 in the red zone last week. The one possession that we didn't get any points was the blocked field goal. And even that was a 15-play, 93-yard, 8-minute possession. And so special teams, come on. We know the whole story. The Minnesota Vikings have as dynamic a special teams unit as any team in the league. Cordell Patterson already has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. He'll return it from 108 yards, 109 yards. You've seen that. He doesn't care. So special teams unit must be on alert. They have to be on notice, and they got to bring their A game because not only can they give it to you on kickoffs with Cordell Patterson, Marcus Sherrills is a good punt returner in his own right, and he has a punt return this season for a touchdown, had one last year for a touchdown as well. So we've got to be on our P's and Q's, Y's and Z's, and be able to go make tackles on special teams. So we've got our work cut out for us. A winnable game that I fully expect to come down with, go to 4-5 on the season, and complete step 2 of a 3-step process to get back to 500. We're on the road to recovery. We're on step 2. Got to get this win in Minnesota. It's going to be tough. I don't expect it to be easy, but I do expect us to come down with the victory. So if we take care of our end of the bargain, we run the football, convert on third downs, don't turn it over, force turnovers, limit the penalties. If we do all of those things, stop Adrian Peterson, we should win this football game. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. My Redskin spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail. To the Redskins. See you on Friday as I break this game down. Go get them, fellas.
The Redskins Report.